I knew people would be upset. So like I did know on some level, yes, there were going to be people upset. There's going to be people that love I've said this all along, right? From the first time we've talked about this game, there's going to be people that love the first game that aren't going to like this game. I know that. And yet we still believe in this despite that.
What a load of bullshit!
You know, it's a funny world. Just when you think that the talk of The Last of Us 2 finally ends, it rears its head again with the Gamer Awards. By winning this, the Golden Joystick Award. I mean, if you ask me, awards aren't really all that relevant nowadays, especially when it becomes extremely suspect about certain games and media that get so much preferential treatment. Award shows are nothing more than glorious self-gratulations by the social elite, if you ask me. It's part of the reason why superhero movies, despite how saturated they become, have a track record for why they haven't gotten many awards. And it's the same with gaming awards, in my opinion. Especially when it's been stated these awards aren't chosen by fan votes, but rather by a small committee, or fan votes only account for 10% of the actual choices. So you have to forgive me when I don't find it all that surprising that when The Last of Us 2 actually gets nominated for quite a few awards, and becomes a game that received nothing but perfect scores from mainstream media critics of the game, managed to win countless awards, or in this case, a lot of awards. Then this comes to the debacle that happened in the last couple days, with this tweet.
There's obviously no peaceful way to settle this.
Now I want to point this out. There's nothing wrong with wanting your fans to help win a game for an award. If you have that audience, you're more than welcome to do that. Hell, more power to you. It shows that you actually do have a good grasp in people who are willing to do that for you. But this is a mindset that I really hate.
Haters gonna hate.
Especially when you consider that Neil has recently been promoted to a higher position in Naughty Dog. This is a grown man with a professional career who is saying this stuff. And this is a mindset that he's had before in the past, and it's something that fans of The Last of Us 2 like to peddle whenever you dare levy any sort of criticism against the game, even if you're respectful. They will claim that you are doing nothing but being cherry-picking and will ignore what you actually said. They will twist your words and not actually listen to what you say, all the while labeling you as a hater. And that's an interesting word, isn't it, my friends? Hater. It's a nebulous term, but if we look at the Oxford Dictionary definition, hater is a person who hates something or someone, or someone who is very negative or critical in their attitudes. Cambridge's definition? A person who says or writes unpleasant things about someone or criticizes their achievements, especially on the internet.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
For the people who are saying that Neil isn't referring to critics in this tweet, you can't really blame people who have been critical of the game have a reaction to this in a negative manner. Hater is such a broad term, especially on the internet, that people will cast that onto anyone. Like, if you dare to criticize a YouTuber, you are a hater of them. If you dare criticize a game, you are a hater of that game. If you even make a joke at someone's expense, you will be labeled as a hater. And people do this all the time. You can't tell me otherwise. And considering the fact that Neil backtracked a day later when people got into his case, so much so that he deleted the joke tweet and said he was referring to trolls in his initial tweet, you'll have to forgive me if I don't find this to be a little suspect. Which, if we're talking about this, first, trolls and haters aren't the same thing. If you meant trolls, you would have said trolls because those guys are actually looking to get a rise out of people by saying stupid things that they don't actually believe in. That's what a troll does. Then again, Twitter is a dumping ground for people's thought farts, so what can I say? But secondly, and this is gonna blow your mind, I don't think Neil is in the wrong here. Now before you go spamming in the comments, let me explain myself. I've always been an advocate for people joking around, but what really makes me mad is when people have to backpedal like this, when instead, if Neil wanted to look good to everyone in the situation and even get back at those haters, should have just kept the joke running. What do I mean? I'm a person who always likes to see people take the piss out of their haters, quote unquote. And if people were really taking offense to such a simple joke, have fun with them. Show that they're being overly sensitive. Hell, he could have gone with like, "Jeez, people totes getting upset over a joke? Mission accomplished!"
That was truly cringeworthy.
Like, the one thing you shouldn't do when making a joke is backtrack. With a small few exceptions here and there, like if it was overly racist. Not only do you look weak doing that, especially for such a harmless joke, but you give your critics more ammo because you admit you're wrong for making said joke and not presenting yourself correctly. If you apologize for a joke, especially one that is that tame, then it's a bad move in my opinion. Keeping up the joke would paint your critics as people who have sticks up their asses who are taking any and every opportunity to complain about you. And if you do this, you actually make them look to be completely pathetic. You know what they say, if you want to make your enemies look pathetic, make them into jokes. And before anyone gets my case for saying that and trying to claim irony or hypocrisy, I haven't really talked about Neil specifically for a long while and mostly kept quiet with his antics or whatever drama happened outside of laughing at it. You wanna know what's really ironic? This ended up being the thing that allowed Ghost of Tsushima to win the online voting for the next award show, so what he intended to happen backfired on him. Now, contrary to what people who can't read, and I actually said on Twitter, like to think, I don't promote death threats, even against people I don't like. I know it's a sad time when you have to say that, something that anyone with a working pair of eyes could tell that I call people who do send death threats idiots, and obviously don't approve of that. I honestly don't approve of that for anything, for any creator. But when you've been getting onto these sorts of things, and you've been getting these sorts of death threats, and know that there's a vocal group of people who don't like what you put out there and don't like what's been happening, you do have to choose your words more carefully. You gotta not provoke them, or you gotta be masterful in taking the piss out of them and showing that they don't actually bug you, and that they're not really worth your time, save for just making jokes at them. I know, practice what you preach. I know, practice what you preach, Kamen, but that's advice I'm gonna be following in the future. To follow up on this, I do want to point out that people were actually going on like the "it's just a joke" defense. And I'm like sitting here thinking, really? You're gonna use that defense? Because a lot of these people are the same kind of people who will actually go on and get onto people for making jokes. So it's okay if Neil can make a joke, but other people don't? That's double standard. Hell, when you even got DSP, Mr. I was just doing my taxes, making a point about this that actually makes sense, you actually know that you done effed up here. But hey, those are just my thoughts, and this is a short video. But I don't care. I'm just giving my 2 cents out there. I'm just doing this to appease the algorithm while I work on more fleshed out videos. I do hope you guys have a good day, and go away now.